Hi, everyone, and welcome to our final book chat of the month. My name is Larissa, and I'm the African American Resource Center Coordinator. And every week this month, I have been reading a different book by our 2024 Sankofa Award winner, Terry McMillan, and talked about them. Talked about my thoughts on them. So for this last week, I read what is probably Terry McMillan's most well-known book, Waiting to Excel. Love this cover. Sidebar. She, or I'm assuming she, had all of her books, the covers redone into these like cool little drawn characters or whatever. And they look so great. So like I really love this cover. So this week I read Waiting to Excel. I don't think I've actually read this book before, but I for sure saw the film at some point. It came out in 1995. I'm pretty sure the book came out in 92. I was a child, like a babe, like a kid when it came out, very young. So it was obviously years after that I probably actually watched the movie. But I think even when I watched it, like still kind of too young to understand the nuances of it, of a film like this. And so, but I do remember liking the soundtrack. I like still listen to that Mary J. Blige song. Y'all know the song. I still listen to it. In any case, adult me got to dig into this book. And what a book, y'all! What a ride. So this book follows four women as they navigate friendship, relationships, and life in general, which over the course of this month we have seen is a common series of themes, I guess, in Terry McMillan's books. Really looking at women and their friendships and their relationships and the way that they navigate life as usually pretty successful Black women in the 80s and 90s. So there is Savannah, one of our main characters who moves from Denver to Phoenix, where the other ladies live. She has a job working in public relations at a news station. And she is kind of taking a pay cut when she moves to Phoenix, but she's kind of like, Denver's dead. There's nothing here for me. I got a friend in Phoenix. Let's see what's up there. So she moves. She's single and she's pretty successful. And though she likes to find love, she doesn't want to just settle or be put through heartbreak in the way that she's seen some of the women around her do. And that's Whitney Houston in the movie. So then there's also Bernadine. She is a married mom of two who, at the beginning of the book, her husband leaves her for a white woman, which like they like make note that he leaves her for not even just a white woman, but a young white woman. So she's like rightfully angry, but it's kind of less about her still loving him and more about cheating with a young white woman. And then in addition, she's mostly been, I don't want to say living off of him because that's not right. She is a housewife, and she has a job that we find out that she kind of had to fight to have because her husband, of 12 years, didn't want her to work because that did not fit into the image that he had constructed. So he's got money, he's got these perfect children, he's got this perfect wife, and so no wife of his works, right? Because why should she when he makes enough to live? Like that's not the image that he has constructed. And so not only does he leave her for this other person, a person who works with him at that, but during these divorce proceedings, we kind of learn that his monetary and financial dealings are not as straightforward as she has been led to believe. So she has to navigate being broke. And so that's Angela Bassett in the movie. So then there's Gloria, Loretta Devine. She owns a successful beauty salon and has a teenage son. She's apparently overweight, but pretty, as this always explains, and has been single with kind of no prospects for like a really, really long time. She finds out, so her storyline kind of, she finds out that her son's father is gay, and then that her 16-and-a-half-year-old son is having sex. All around the same time that she also finds out that one of her employees has AIDS. And so this book is set in the 90s, early 90s. But this is around the time when kind of that AIDS epidemic is like everywhere, right? It's in the news, it's all over the place. And so STDs and teen pregnancy becomes like major issues for her. And then we kind of also see in this book a lot of talk about safe sex and things like that, which is great. So like very topical, if you will. And so finally there is Robin, perceived as the youngest. I don't actually know if she's the youngest, but she kind of reads that way, because she's not quite as successful as the rest of them. Although points can be made that Bernadine is not necessarily successful because having a successful husband isn't quite the same thing as your own success. But in any case, so she like kind of reads as the youngest one, because not as successful. She's got a decent job, but it doesn't make her the money that she wishes that it made. And then she's kind of still a bit immature in her relationships with men. She focuses a lot more on her sexual attraction to them, other than substance, in a way that has her choosing men who don't offer her very much just because they're good looking. And that kind of gets frustrating in this book, where she kind of passes over really decent guys because they don't fit the aesthetic look that she wants. And there's obviously points that can be made about, yes, you want to be attracted to the person that you're dating. But for the sake of, to the detriment of like yourself, right? Like to continue to be heartbroken because you choose that as opposed to someone who's nice. Anyway, I digress. So outside of men or their lack thereof, they lead full lives though, which is one thing that I do like about these books, is that like you see women doing it, right? Like they have lives outside of their relationships, but these lives are not without their challenges, right? Robin's father has Alzheimer's that her mother is dealing with because they cannot afford nursing or nursing homes. Savannah's sister is kind of enduring a troubled marriage that has her leaving him and going back because she's dependent on him. And then she also has to kind of help her mother out monetarily because the Social Security benefits that she's getting just quite isn't enough to sustain life. Gloria's overeating and family history kind of leads to this huge health event. And then Bernadine turns sometimes to Xanax and alcohol to kind of deal with everything that's going on in her life as well. So we see these uber successful women, but we also see them dealing with life, because that's what happens in life, right? But like I said, with almost all of her books, I have seen this theme of friendship reign supreme. They laugh with each other, they argue with each other, sometimes they even judge each other, but they are always supportive and always there for one another in a way that's like obvious that they care about each other. Because the reality is, sometimes our friends do things that we don't agree with, sometimes our friends do things that we would rarely rather they not do, but that doesn't mean we care about them less, especially if it's not harmful or it's not like it doesn't stray from our values or morals or whatever. So like even if somebody is doing something like that's a bad idea, it doesn't mean you stop being their friend. And so we see that a lot because sometimes these ladies make some bad decisions or poor decisions. I don't want to say bad, but sometimes you're kind of side-eyeing them like, are you sure that's what you need to be doing right now? And the other ladies give them that too. But at the end of the day, you see that support for one another, which is something that I really, really like. So this was a solid read, like with enough drama to keep you entertained, but also substance, right? Like I said, a lot of the things that are in here are topical. So one of the things that they're like working towards is trying to get MLK Day recognized in Arizona, right? Like get that recognized. And so that's there. And then you also have like the dealings with AIDS and safe sex. You also have the dealings with just like, what does it mean to be a middle class Black person? Like they talk a lot about networking and how kind of we've moved past fun to networking. Just kind of things like that where you really see what was important for Black people, African American folks in the early 90s. And I like that because I was born in the early 90s. And so just to kind of see this is what was happening when I was a baby and a toddler. It's cool. I'm telling my age, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Y'all know that. So I can 100% see why I was turned into a film because, like I said, there's enough drama to keep you like, dang, what's gonna happen next? But again, enough substance to like fuel those book club discussions. You know what I mean? So speaking of films, we are going to screen this movie on November 14th, which is a Tuesday at 6 o'clock here at Rudisill. So add that to your calendars. We're going to watch Waiting to Excel. We're going to watch a couple of her other films too once we get those dates solidified. Of course, just check out my Facebook page to keep up to date with that. But November 14th, Tuesday, 6 p.m., we're going to screen Waiting to Excel. I'm really excited to see kind of, now that I've actually read the book, to see in which ways the film aligns, because I'm always a proponent of the film is better. I mean, the movie, the book, the book is better. But who's to say? Maybe this film was like the film was very, very popular. So we'll see what parts they took to make this, what parts from the book they took to make this film. Whew. Okay, y'all. This has been a really, really great month. I am really excited now to see Terry McMillan here to talk to her about her books and kind of learn more about her after having read these. I hope that you all get a chance to read some before she's here. Once again, she will be here on February 9th at Rudisill Regional Library. I will see y'all again in March for my book chats for Women's History Month. Bye.